Hey, my name is Matt, and this isn't another boring Facebook ad tutorial. I'll be going over my exact setup for automotive industry, where I show you how to research the audience, run the ads, split test them, what to do if they fail, and how to set up AI chatbots that increase conversions like hell, because nobody wants to talk to those leads any day, and you'll be experiencing that a lot if you're running an agency, or if you have your own dealership or retail shop. That's just the reality. So it's not just ads, it's a whole setup. If you need help setting it up and you want it for yourself, you've got a link to my calendar below. And if you do feel like setting it up for yourself, you've got a link to a Notion file, which explains one by one how to set all of it. Now, enjoy. I'll have a bit more room to show it. So yeah, pretty much, I was in this for around a year and a half. I was running it for detailers first, for a long time. But then my mentor dragged me into dealerships, and this is where most of the money came in. Like dealerships alone, we spend around 100,000, and that generates money like crazy because ROI on used cars is ridiculous. We spent around $10,000, and that alone made 330,000, and that is in profit. Revenue-wise, it was almost 2.5 half that. So ridiculous numbers. And then to answer your question, Blake, with different advertisers like Google, you will pretty much have them on all the way on the bottom of the funnel. They'll be expensive, high competition, but it's working better for like immediate stuff. Like if somebody pukes on your car, inside of the car, that's when you will sell the details the most, right? Because ceramic coatings, for example, it's a want, it's not a need. So it will be much more difficult to sell, and it's also way more expensive. So like when on Facebook you've got leads for $2, $5, $10. On Google, that stuff will run you $40. My friend that's running an agency as well for detailers, he's getting leads for like $80, but they are super qualified. It's just that he does not have the infrastructure to like work those leads, so he'll be able to get more of them cheaper, longer sales cycle, and eventually make more money. He doesn't have that, so he's qualifying the shit out of them. Like he's giving prices straight on the ad, extremely detailed landing page, and it's aiming like at the super high-end clientele. So this is what Google is for, really. Facebook is best when you're just starting out. So it's very fast to pick up who is your target audience, even if you set it as broad. Very simple to set up. People are on the top of the funnel, so it's way lower intent. In the first month, there'll be shit. It has to learn for at least month and a half. But after that, it should be a smooth ride, and it will be much more profitable than Facebook in most niches. Now, in terms of those expectations, month one, like make it clear to your clients that this is just for testing, right? We might get some results, but don't put them on like a super guarantee like 10 cars a month or 10 appointments a month. Just say this month is to figure stuff out, build your pipeline, nurture them. And moving on to month two, you pick up the results you had in month one, you pick the winning ad sets, and then you split test based on those ad sets, right? So if you have a, let's say, testimonial types of ads, then you've got the UGC type of ads, then you've got some basic educational ads, and you see that testimonial ads are working the best, then you just dip the other ones, and then you split test that ad set. Now in month three, all you're gonna be doing is nurturing leads from the previous months, and you'll be optimizing winning ads. At this point, you might want to introduce some sort of landing pages if you haven't already. You want to focus on improving the actual sales process. And yeah, that's it on that one. But before you even get running the ads, you just research your audience. You want to know who are you targeting, so you spend less money on testing, and you have higher quality leads. So you've got to create an offer, then running creatives, how to write an ad copy, setting up the actual Facebook ad campaign, and then optimizing it. So before you touch anything, use something called Justice Map, and that goes for selling stuff like med spa treatments or those ceramic coatings or maybe landscaping jobs on the higher end. In here, you'll be able to see the income. So, for example, if you're in Chicago, right, there's a lot of like ghettos. So instead of telling Facebook, look at the whole area, you just exclude the neighborhoods that you do not ever want to target. And that will save you a shit ton of money. Next off, we've got Reddit and Quora, the best source of information. I made people argue so hard, and they were literally pitching me why I should buy the ceramic coating, why I shouldn't buy the ceramic coating, right? So it's like half of people fighting, the other half people defending the point. And all I was getting out of this is ideas for the ad copy, ideas for the hook, and think about it like this. Asking people directly is one of the best ideas on the hook. So if I say I'm eating protein bars and they're dry as hell, and I'll complain about it on forums, whatever. You can just go pick what I'm saying and make an ad hook that says something like, "Are you tired of protein bars that are dry as hell?" I'll click it, right? So you have to ask people on Reddit, Quora. You can also go to Facebook groups and you can just kind of look up whatever people are saying. You can ask them, or you can just run a, how do you call it? Like an awareness ad and see what bites into the audience, but don't expect any conversions of that. It's much cheaper to run it to prove your point, like this offer is more clickable, but don't expect conversions of awareness ads. Next up, we've got phone calls. So when I was first running detailing ads, I would call and interview every single lead. Why would you click on the ad? What is it, about us that's so appealing? What did you like about the offer? How do you feel about the pricing, Just be honest with them and they'll help you. What's their view on the whole business? So what I mean by this is right now we're running ads for dealerships. So people are not very friendly to car salespeople. They think they're sleazy, they think they're pushy, they don't like them. So in that case, if I know already that this will be a problem, I'll just go to my client and say, hey, make a selfie style of ad and say, hey, this is me, Matt, with with Karen, whatever, the customer. She just bought a car. And then if you meet these criteria, we can get you in one of those cars, right? Stuff like that. Something that builds trust and it will make your life a whole lot easier if there is this trust/bond before people even come into the CRM. Lastly, if they do purchase, just ask them why. What made them go through the whole process with you and not somebody else? What was the experience buying from us? What would they improve? All of these little things will help you convert more leads to in the end. Now moving on to the offer. So this ad might look like it's the same, but it's not. So on the left-hand side, you see as low as $500, 12 spots left. The right one is save over 50% compared to the dealership, right? So the first one is for people that are impulse buyers. So if they see an ad, they see a discount, they see something that's cheap, they'll just think, okay, cool, let me get it. There's only 12 spots left. They'll go and buy the same week, right? But they'll be cheap as hell. They'll haggle. And then if you tell them, because this says as low as, right? That doesn't mean it's 500. So if you tell them, hey, it's actually 800, they will just not buy. You might get lucky, the leads will be way lower quality, but they do convert faster. Now, the second ad is save over 50% compared to keyword dealership pricing. So we are targeting people that just got a car, so they have money. If someone spends like 50K on a car, they don't care if it's 1,000, 2,000. So we have to sell them on the fact that they are not spending loads of money at a dealership, and we have to tell them like dealership ceramic coatings are ass. This is our process. This is what we do. And it will be a bit longer sales cycle because those people are not desperate. You want to get them in a phone call, and instead of telling them pay me deposit right now, you tell them how about you go by our shop and you'll meet the owner. We will show you how we do things differently. Why is it so worth to buy from us and not from the dealership? Little things, but they do matter. Now, for creatives and ad copies, I just use Canva. You can use ChatGPT. I use CapCut and Hemingway Editor. So when you're making an ad copy, make sure it's like a child would understand. You know, some of these people they eat crayons, so they're pretty stupid, and you don't want to make it too complicated because they'll just not buy. A confused buyer is not a buyer. Now, for inspiration, I use TikTok. If it works on TikTok, it will work anywhere. And you can also use Facebook Ads Library. Even more than that, you can use something called foreplay.co. So this is like a Facebook Ads library on steroids. So you're able to go into it and just save every single video, whatever you want. It will push it back to foreplay.co. You're able to save all those videos, paraphrase those videos, analyze them with AI, and just a bunch of other cool stuff. They have a free trial. But Ads library is more than enough. And if you feel like you're just starting out your niche and you've got no clue what to do, you're gonna Google, let's say, construction best marketing agency, real estate best marketing agency. You're gonna go to their website. You're going to go and stalk the people that they work with. You're gonna go to Facebook Ads Library. You're gonna put that name, and you're going to see every single ad that is successful. How do you determine that? Just look at this little thing that's right here, right? Started running on the date. The longer it's running, the better. That just means that someone is constantly spending money on it. If an ad is bad, nobody's spending money on it. Uh, well, there is a few exceptions, but you get the point. So you can definitely go and stalk them. More than this, if you want to get more customers in that industry, you just copy paste the name of the actual agency. You put that in the Facebook ads library, and then you can just see what ads are they running to get customers. So that's like a bonus. Now, in terms of split testing creatives, you can see that for this guy, we tested a video and we tested an image ad. So I usually split test it for, the first week, and that kind of gives me an idea of the lead quality, the cost per leads, click-through rate, like what works better and what is more efficient. And this is one of the most important things. Like this is what people look at the most at first glance, right? Second most important thing is the hook. Hook has to align with the creative. So if you're selling apples on a creative and you say oranges in the hook, nobody's gonna click that. Next up, we've got the copy. So this is not as important, especially if you run ads on Instagram, because most people will just not read it. But on Facebook, it should still reflect the copy and the hook. Lastly, we've got the CTA. So you can test. I personally recommend learn more, always educating people and being kind of the doctor on Facebook, whereas everybody's selling them on a discount. You're giving them knowledge. So learn more is good. Or message ads, all of these things, whether it's a form, learn more, get a quote. Facebook will give you exactly what you want, so be careful with this. And all of these little things will come at different price points. Now, lastly, once you get those leads, it's either you or the owner. You gotta be very fast. So within the first 5 minutes, if you don't reply, chances are they'll just, go away and ghost you. The business owner works 9 to 5, prospects work 9 to 5. So there always has to be someone, even at like 6, 7 p.m., that will answer that lead immediately. Like you see, these guys, I've texted them and they reply like an hour, 20 minutes later. So by that time, I was already on to the next dealership, calling them and getting a car from them. So they are just losing money, and you will be losing money if you are not following up on time as well. Now, I'll just show you my Facebook dashboard. I'll walk you through the KPIs, how to look at them, and then we can have some sort of Q&A session. You'll have access to Notion file after the webinar. And in that file, I literally go over every single thing. So like how to get a Facebook page, how to set up Business Manager, how to set up the ad account, how to research the audience, prepping the creatives, all of those things that I just talked about in like 10 times more details. So you're able to literally copy paste it. So let me move to Facebook dashboard. So this is one of our clients, right? And I'll start on analyzing the metrics. So the first thing you want to be looking at is click-through rate. So ideally, it will be above 2%. 2% is like the average. If it's 1%, throw that shit away. This is like the ad creative is responsible for that one. So if your ad creative sucks, the CTR all will go down. Now, CTR link click-through rates should be always around like 50% of the CTR all. If it's below, that means your copy does not resemble the creative, in which case you have to change that. The more the better, but around 50% is good enough, right? Now, cost per lead, it will fully depend on the industry. In detailing, it can go as low as $2 or as high as like 40. It depends on the qualifiers, right? So let me show you this. We are testing multiple creatives, and you can see that Facebook already picked a winner. This one spent $2,000 on it. And this is like a beginner-friendly version of it. So this is something called dynamic creative optimization. So you basically throw a bunch of creatives, bunch of copies, bunch of headlines at Facebook, and they will figure out for you what works best. But it's not like Facebook is right all the time, because if you spoke with your client and they told you like this offer is always working, and you know it's working because you tested it on a different account, then you will not turn that on. Instead, you will create multiple ad sets manually, and then you will put each offer separately. That will let you spend the amount of money that you want on that ad set only, right? Now, in terms of the actual campaign setup, this is what we do. So we've got this one. We use a credit category just because we do financing, but for most of you guys, it will not be applicable. So you can just leave that empty. Always aim for leads or sales. You can leave this one empty. And now, when you're starting out, I would recommend either Messenger or Instant Forms. Those two will be the cheapest. And your goal in the beginning is to let Facebook learn. You need to have a certain budget, so Facebook hits at least 50 conversions a week. So it exits the learning phase, right? So whenever you're starting in here, performance goal, you will have two options: maximize number of leads and conversions. So when you're first starting out, aim for maximizing leads, right? And this will give you like the bottom fitting, low hanging fruit leads. But it's okay because that lets Facebook learn. And at some point, you will just switch it up to conversions. Or if there is not much difference, because that's one of the things you can split test, you just leave it on maximize number of leads. And that's it. Now, this is the dynamic creative that I was talking about that you can turn on. And off of this one, this is audiences. I would recommend to just leave it empty. Let Facebook decide who to show it to based on your creative, ad copy, headline, and then just your followers. If you know a bit more, then you can play around with lookalike audiences and you can play around with custom targeting. So for example, for detailing, what you can do is you can go to client, go to Google, ask your client what cars are most common in the shop. You can also go to Google and look up most sold cars in XYZ area in 2023. And you will already know like those are new cars. This is who you want to target. So then you would just go in here and you would just click, okay, interest, Mercedes, interest, Lexus, and you can pick specific car models. So there's this. And there is also lookalike audiences and custom audiences. So custom audience is like literally a list of people for retargeting. Lookalike audience is something that will take the audience you just gave it to as a custom audience, and it will try and find people like that. So B2C, what it can do is you can get website visitors. You can get all the people that ever submitted a form on a CRM, and you can just make a custom audience of that. And then you're going to go and make a lookalike audience out of this. So this will try and find you high quality people that converted. And this is for B2C. Now, if we are talking about B2B, because some of you might want to run B2B ads as well, you just go and use any kind of scraper, Instagram, Facebook, or even Google Pages. You slap that into a custom audience, and then you make it into a lookalike audience. So this is going to speed up your the Facebook's learning process on B2B ads like a lot. Placements, leave that alone. If you touch that, when you duplicate a campaign, Facebook will not duplicate the reactions. It's really annoying, so just leave that on. If Facebook sees that there is no conversions coming in from like Instagram stories, it will just not show it in Instagram stories. So that's it. This is pretty basic. You already know how to create ads. Just pick an image, slap an image, and that's it. And then after you've done the research, this is where you put your headline, description, and that's it pretty much. The more cool stuff you can do in here is the forms, which I was talking about. So make sure your form reflects what is on the ad. And at the end of it, you will have something like this, like a thank you page. So Facebook, you're getting people on the top of the funnel. And what you want to do is you want to drag them all the way down. So what you would be doing ideally is you get those cheap leads, and then after they submitted a form, you give them the option to either learn more information about your business, have some sort of VSL or landing page. You can make them fill in like a longer survey so they're more qualified. And step ahead of that is you can make them book a call right after that. So you don't have to have only leads that give you basic info. You can funnel them down, and those people are way more likely to convert and give you accurate information, because as you've seen here, for these guys, we are using autofill. So this will depend on the area and who are we targeting, but when you start out, make sure you use autofill, just because it's like way less efforts when like someone is on Facebook, right? And they just have to use Face ID and that's it. Now, obviously this is lower quality leads, but you want volume. You want to have a proof of concept that your ads is working. If you're getting an enormous amount of leads that are fake or just wrong numbers, then you would switch that off, and then you would put the questions right here as a short question, right? So they have to put it manually, and there is no autofill. So there's no such scenario where there is cookies and it's an old number. So this is how you kind of get cheapest leads, but some of them might be very qualified because you drag them through this funnel. So this is for the ad. Thinking about what else I can show you in here. No, I think I've covered most of the stuff. I can show you how does the back end of things look like if you guys want. So once those leads come through, this is kind of what's going to happen in the back end. So as you see, this guy came through, right? And then the AI is automatically talking to him. This is pretty simple setup, but if you're working with a local business that is always busy or always says they're busy, then you might want to look into something like this. So, well, in that case, that guy actually called him, so that's fine. But right after that, he just went to the office. So the AI kicked in again, and the AI's job is, if the lead is like the load here, which means they haven't filled in the survey or they haven't they haven't booked an appointment, it will try and ask them the following questions. So what car do you want? What features do you want? How much money down do you have? What is your kind of credit score? What is your household income? And when are you looking to get a car, right? So as you can see, the AI was just raising him up. It was literally guiding him by hand. And after it got all the qualifying questions, got his information, gives them the booking times, and booked an appointment. And this is kind of the process. So that's how I do things, and that's working pretty sweet. So if you guys have any questions, just let me know in the chat, and I'll try to answer. Or you can just unmute yourself, and I'll answer everything. So
So what's the app called? Because I didn't catch it. Can you spell it?
app is called Capri.ai. That's the app name.
With
I'll
C?
write it in the chat.
Okay.
Everyone in the meeting, Capri AI. Yeah.
Okay, cheers.
Yeah, so for metrics, always look at CTR first. This is your creative. Sorry, CTR all. Then you've got the CTR. This is your ad copy. And then you're just looking how many link clicks are you getting? Sorry, form submissions are you getting? And then this is like all combined. So if CTR all sucks, you have to replace the creative. If your CTR link through click rate sucks, you have to fix the copy. And if your CPM sucks, which is like cost per impressions, then you gotta look at the ad as a whole. Maybe you're targeting the wrong audience. Maybe your ad is just boring. How we can lower CPM is make the ad engaging. So, for example, when you're selling dog toys, and someone says, "Oh yeah, I would like to get this for my dog," instead of sending them a link, tell them to send a photo of their dog, and they will do that. And people in a meeting, sorry, people on the ad will do the same thing. So you'll have like a 20, 50 comments, everybody will be commenting, and Facebook is going to think that, okay, cool, this ad is great. Let's show it to more people. So this is going to drive down your cost per impression. And yeah, that's it. Any other questions? Guys, you can unmute, by the way. It's a judgment-free zone. Oh shoot, am I lagging or is it? No, shoot. Try and write down the question. I'll just try and answer. Yo, Bill, what's up? So this is like a guide for split testing, and I'll share the link later. But if you do it yourself, then you're able to hire anyone that's like mediocre on running ads, but they can read. And then you make the guide, you show them how you do it step by step, write it down in like a lot of details. And then you'll show them like this is the testing phase, this is the copy we're running, this is the headline, this is the creative, this is what is split testing, this is how to analyze the statistics, this is what each statistic means, how to draw conclusions and make better ads, how to look at it from like bird's eye view, right? What are we doing to add new variables? How to test multiple groups. And that's it. So if you're outsourced too early, then you might get fucked over by some freelancers who claim to be an expert, but they're not. And then you will not be able to verify that because you never did it yourself. And if they go away, you're kind of stuck because you won't know how to continue running the ads. So learn it yourself, SOPify everything. And if you want to outsource at that point, just make sure you teach someone how to do it first.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
lovely.
And also remember that when you're paying someone on, let's say, Upwork, and you're paying them like $500, this is going to be really expensive. But if you instead hire someone on like 5K a month and you give them 30 accounts, this is going to be like 20 times cheaper because they are on salary, right? And they've got everything copy paste. And those are, by the way, the perks of having everything in the same niche. Because you hire somebody, you get a new client, you can just give them pre-edited videos. You can give them ad copies that only require replacing the person or the car or the dentist, whatever. And that's it, as simple as that. So perks of niching down, I guess.
Yeah, thank you.
Cool. All right, guys. If there is no more questions, then I'll go because I still do have stuff to do. But I will share the recording on the Discord, and I'll also share the Notion file where you've got like everything, the whole setup, so you can literally copy paste it. Cool. No questions. All right. Cool. Then yeah. Thanks for coming, guys. And yeah, I hope you use some of this stuff.
Yeah, thank you for all the information. I think.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of insights.
All right. Cool. Then
Thank you.
yeah. All right.
Okay.
Cool.
Have a
Cheers.
good night, boys.
Good night.